Alright, so we're finally up and running after 9 laps. Currently Lane's trying to get into the session. I am, for the first time, gonna take the lead of this stream because I'm the only one who can see what's going on. So, you guys didn't miss too much. Looks like Ethan's made a pit stop as well as Kyle. They were running 1-2 for the first stint of the race. Salvanic out there started on the mediums. He's leading the way. Along with Mystic Joker and P2, 12 seconds off. He started on the hards from the very back of the field. Looks like Maddie's made a pit stop. He's on the hards. Any other notables? Oh, Dion did go for a spin at turns 8 and 9 early on. He had to go to the pits for a wing change. And I think Stu had a spin at one point, but he's looking pretty solid in P12. So, looks like the strategies are going to be pretty straightforward. All these soft runners did make it to a good window to get to the hards. Now the question will be, how far will these hards make it before they really start to die off? I know towards the end of the race, ooh, we got a yellow flag in Sector 1. That is for... I don't know who that's for, but Dion's around again. At turn 12. Entry to turn 12. I could shoot you another invite, Lane, if you need me to.
That didn't really work either, so I might have to do a complete shut off or something. I'm sort of just I'm trying, but nothing's really working at the moment.
It's just always frustrating when these technical things go awry. Actually, I missed it. Dion just retired in the pits, so after 10 laps he's giving it up. Let's see if we got any good battles on track. Ooh, we got Dunk made a move around Willy Wonker. Willy Wonker yet to pit. And Ethan still staying with Kyle. I think this is going to be the battle to watch throughout the race. Two very quick drivers. Obviously, Kyle is your reserve, along with a lot of other guys. But Salvanic, it looks like he's got it made right now. 12 seconds to the car behind him, and just doing a solid pace. And he's obviously going to be on the fresh hards, much fresher hards than his other two rivals once he pits, so gonna have to look out for him.
There's an opportunistic safety car in his favor that might help him out a bit as well.
Yeah, safety car. Would pay out huge. Yeah, anything that would save him time in that pit delta would pay out huge right now. Oh, wait, looks like we got through the hairpin. Yeah, it was just a car getting out of the way. And a ghost yellow flag in Sector 3. There's ghost yellow flags everywhere, so it seems like not only are we having problems with the stream, but I think there's just something wrong with this lobby, if I'm gonna be 100% honest.
What, you have ghosted cars everywhere?
No, just random yellows throughout the whole circuit.
Oh,
yeah, just local yellows just lighting up everywhere, so something's going wrong.
I think I had a race like that at Zonville, where just these spontaneous yellow flags just pop up in each sector, and it was quite irritating to watch, because you see a yellow flag and you just naturally think, oh god, there's an incident, okay, and then you have to go, no, that's just the game being the game. You have to sort of calm yourself down because of it. It's infuriating.
Ooh, Stu up in a P9. I caught he made a move around Rob Hadley, and now Rob and Dunk are going side by side. Dunk on the fresher rubber. Dunk does get the move done, but he does get a warning. We gotta invite Preds. Yeah, I think, yeah.
So the majority of the soft runners have elected to put onto the hard tire.
Yeah, I think every single one of them has.
Right, so none of them have the two-stop in mind at all. And not even planning to race in the medium compact. Interesting. I just feel as if the medium compact is generally the best tire.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the thing about the two-stop is you have to rely on so much other than your pure pace.
That's true.
There is Salvanic this lap. He's going to make a pit stop. He already made his pit stop. He's on the hard, so he'll go to the end. I think he's going to come out in really good track position. He's going to be P5 right behind Matthew. Well, not right behind. He's about 7 seconds back, but one position behind Matthew. We got a lot of pit stops. Stu in. Deary Racing is in. Chris Murphy is in. Rob Hadley is in. Willie Wonker is in. And they're all going to the hard. So yeah, seems like the hard tire is the way to go. Actually, no. One soft runner did move to the mediums, and that is Buck.
And he had pretty decent pace in qualifying, if I remember.
Yeah, but he's sitting in. He's running P9, so I'm not sure. Yeah, obviously we missed in the shuffle of trying to get this together. We missed some of it here and there, but so apologies for that. But yeah, this is a little impromptu for tonight. And I gotta get Preds back into the session.
Yes, this is... If I ever wanted to know what commentating blind would be like, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's a little... It's pretty impossible to do when you have no idea what's going on.
Eyes, as it turns out.
Yeah, even if you were to watch the stream, it'd be on such a delay.
I probably should look up the stream. Because, yeah, I'm having absolutely no luck trying to rejoin this level, it seems. Which is quite unfortunate, but hey-ho. How it goes, I guess. It has to be infuriating.
Ethan is still just right on the back of Kyle, and actually Kyle and Ethan right on the back of Alex Garcia, Mystic Joker right now. I don't know, I could have swore he was just leading the race by 13 seconds. And he hasn't pit, so no idea what went on there. Yeah, it had to be a massive mistake. Stu's right on the back of Chris Murphy. Looks like he's eyeing up a move. Not going to be this lap in 8 and 9. As you said, he's probably going to have to wait a whole nother lap because there's not many other places to overtake, especially when there's a large 4-car DRS train like this.
Yeah, particularly when DRS tracks form, it's very, very difficult to overtake, particularly when you're in the middle of it. It's very impossible to try and overtake.
And Taylor Hodge went off pretty far there into the, what did you call it, lane? The miles of tarmac or something like that.
Oh, the million miles of runoff.
Yeah, the million miles of runoff. Yeah.
It's the only, like, if you look at it from a bird's eye view, it's a tarmac lake with some trees in the middle. It's what it is. And it's got these blue and red lines absolutely everywhere, so you have to wear 3D glasses in order to not get a headache. It's a unique racetrack in that regard, but yeah, it's in its time in real life Formula One, it hasn't been particularly great when it comes to racing.
And as you were talking about that, Alex Garcia moved down to P3. I think he just let Kyle and Ethan through. Not sure why. Well, he is on a much different strategy, and he also is a reserve tonight, so I think we're going to see him in the pits pretty soon. Not this lap. And Stu, yet another lap. Can't get the move done on Chris Murphy. And this is, I mean, they got the move done on somebody. Ooh, oh no. Matt lost it at the final corner. Big wing damage. He's going to lose out massively from that. He's going to have to do that the whole lap with that damage. And you can see right there, already struggling quite a bit. So, unfortunate for Matty. He was sitting in a P2 spot with the adjusted standings. Now he's going to have to limp back to the pits. Still got 10 laps to go though. I think solid points on the cards for him. And these yellow flags are distracting me so much. Oh, and I have totally lost lane now. Well, boys. You know, sometimes they say that things just don't go your way. And this night pretty much sums that up. As we have Chris Murphy, he's going to go around the outside. No, he's thought about it. Not going to get it done though. And here comes Alex Garcia into the pits. I think he'll do some mediums to the end. And that is correct. So 10 lap shootout for him on the mediums. We've got lane back.
See if that works. I had another reset. See if it works.
Matt's finally made his way back to the pits, but he's gonna be in bad shape. I think he's gonna fall all the way down to 15th.
From the sounds of things, he would desperately need a safety car to try and save his race.
Yeah, he's for sure gonna need a safety car. Make use of those fresh tires. I mean, there's a big group out in front of him, but he's gotta do some work to get there. I mean, his pace has been good tonight, so I think he can make some headway, maybe get his way back to the points, but I'd say that P2 finish for him is pretty much thrown out the window. And jeez, ooh, a lot of penalties. A lot of penalties as Matt picks up his first as I say that. I think Ethan looks poised to make a move for the lead. He doesn't have to get this move done, but I mean, winning after adjusted standings is one thing, winning it on track is another thing, and I'm sure he's gonna want to take the win on track. He's not gonna be happy finishing P2 knowing Ethan. Got some. I'm not sure what happened there. Looks like Stu kind of just gave up the position to Rob. Oh, Chris Murphy. Oh, big crash. That might be your safety car. We got yellow flags. And it's a VSC. It's only a VSC for that. That was a big hit. Lost it on the exit at turn 5. That outside curve will shoot you around if you hit it wrong. Get on the power a little bit too aggressively, and it looks like what went on there. As you could see, the stranded car there. Now, is anybody going to take advantage of this VSC and try to sneak in a pit stop? I think Buck is thinking about it. No, he will not. NFS Buck is going to have to pit again, though. He's not going to do another 8 laps on those mediums. Oh, and Matty. A drive-through for speeding under VSC, and he's not going to be happy about that.
Yeah, not a lot of drivers are when they get to drive through, in fairness. But we've seen it time and time again on the virtual safety car and on the safety car where drivers just they don't manage their deltas too well. As a result, they get to drive through.
Yeah, I don't know if we've talked about it before. I think we have, but a drive-through when you're... I mean, most of the time you're not way over that limit. You're just a tiny bit over, and a drive-through for being a half a tenth under your delta seems a little bit harsh at times, but I mean, it's the same for everybody, and it can be frustrated. It's bitten me before. If you're in the red, you're serving a drive-through.
Technique that I tend to use under those sort of circumstances is basically I drive with my eyes glued to the delta, and I just use my peripheral vision to drive on the road. Typically you're not driving fast enough, so then you need to be fully focused on your apexes and the cars in front. You have enough time to react. So I just drive just looking at the delta for the most part, and that tends to help because then you can adjust to how fast your car is traveling to the delta and try and not get a drive-through penalty. Fortunately, I haven't done that. I only did that. I've only sped on the VSC once, and that was only because I was doing driving and commentating. And I was too busy talking and not paying attention to the delta, and as a result, I got a drive-through.
Yeah, that's...
I was only there for the lols. We had a fairly small field. It was at Vietnam as well.
Oh, that's like the worst track. So you had to drive at Vietnam, no less. You had to look at your delta, and you had to keep things interesting by talking. That's way too much going on.
Thank goodness. I had a buddy in the commentary box who was streaming. It was just the field size was that poor that I decided to hop in and drive. And it was a Masters race, so I had the likes of Amazing Aaron, Bailey Ford, was properly quick drivers. Fortunately, I qualified like 11th or something. And everyone just sort of crashed at turn 1, and I ended up in 5th at the end of turn 2. And I held it for a long time, and then the virtual safety car came out at the end of the race, and I was busy talking about what was going on. And about 2 seconds before I got the penalty, I looked at the delta, and I was like 4 seconds under. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting a drive through here. I just nailed my own, nailed the last nail in the coffin by myself, and yeah, I ended up finishing 8th, and I was pretty happy with that. But, yeah, fun time.
Yeah, as you guys just saw, looks like Sebi went off at turn 8 and 9 and got disqualified, trying to get it back on track, which I've seen happen before. You kind of get lost in the million miles of tarmac, as you would say. Ooh, Dunk and Mystic Joker going at it. I think Mystic Joker's going to pull away on these fresh mediums here now that he's got the move done. But yeah, that if you spin at 8 and 9, it's sometimes it gets a bit tricky to figure out where the actual road is.
Oh, absolutely. When you're in that sort of infinite space that is the runoff area, you kind of lose your bearings, and it's not that difficult to drive backwards on the racetrack. And the game, being the game, will recognise that you're driving backwards, so it will hand you a disqualification for it. But, excuse me. the ideal way to avoid such a thing is to try and not put yourself in a scenario where you're in the runoff area and in a potential sort of place to get disqualified. So, it's unfortunate, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yes. We've got Ethan basically just... He's got Kyle just kind of towing him along the track. Kyle, he's got 9 seconds of penalties, so... I mean, that's Kyle for you. And Ethan looks pretty good to just chill out here. We've got 6 laps to go, and he doesn't have to do anything crazy. As these yellow flags just continue to run rampant. And Alex and J-Dunk just continue to put on a show. This looks like the only real battle on the track, so we'll keep an eye on this for a little bit. I thought Mystic Joker would have pulled away quite easily on these fresh tires, but Dunk is not letting him get away.
And I've just hopped onto your stream now. I basically folded with my attempts to try and join. What he needs to do is more or less be patient for the majority of the racetrack. He will be finding it very difficult to try and overtake for about 2/3 of this place, and then he can have a crack at turn 8, and that's about it. He needs to just try and apply pressure to Mr. Joker in front, and if he can find a way past, he can find a way past.
Yeah, I think he's run out of ERS, so I think Alex Garcia is pretty much going to drive away here. But pretty good showing from Dunk. I think we've seen him. Well, at the beginning of this season, he switched to the wheel, and he made improvements. We saw improvements from him every week. But he's playing a lot of iRacing now with his wheel, and he's decided to go back to controller on the F1 game just to make things a little easier. I don't know how many people you talk to, Lane, who play iRacing and F1, but they say it's pretty much impossible to be good at both.
It's a completely different kettle of fish when you're jumping from iRacing and in between sort of these arcadey games like F1, like Gran Turismo Sport. They're such different handling models, and with iRacing I would imagine be a more hardcore sim. You have to be so gentle with your inputs, whereas with here on F1 it's a bit more arcadey, so you can afford to really chuck it into bends and the car will stick. So yeah, going from one game to another would be very difficult. And with the controller's pretty solid in F1 games. It's not like it's a million miles off the pace of a wheel. It's probably easier to just pick up a controller and just play a bit more casually. But yeah.
Some people like to argue that we're just automatically 2/10 quicker a lap because we're on a controller.
They can go and shove their opinion up where the sun don't shine.
That's a different topic for a different day. Maybe we'll talk about that next week.
Perhaps, when things aren't going astray. So.
Ooh, there goes Ethan. He's gonna make the move down the inside of turn 8 as, ooh, very, very close. He kind of squeezed Kyle a little bit into the apex, but Ethan wanted to just get on with it. Not that it's gonna matter too much. Yeah, it was a good move there. He had every right to just, yeah, squeeze him into the apex. It was his corner at the end of the day.
But what's a penalty scenario like between the two at the top?
Ooh, well, Kyle's got 9.
Yikes, that's typical.
Ethan's only got 3. Nicholas has got 3. Alex has got none. Jonathan has 9. And Justin also with none. Everybody else, I mean, some of these penalties actually might shake up the midfield. I don't think it'll do too much to the top.
Yeah, that's pretty much set in stone at the moment. They're basically battling for pride, those fellas.
Oh, there goes Dunk down the inside of Alex. He took advantage of a disconnected car and just stuck it down the inside at the final corner. I'm sure you'll see that in a few seconds. I don't know how far behind you are.
No, I was basically about 5 seconds behind where you said that. And in fairness to Dunk, he took advantage of an opportunity given to him. Now he just needs to make this stick. Well, he's got those 12 seconds worth of penalties, so he
Yeah.
will lose out anyway. But
Yeah, he's
if he could try and pull away from his main rivals, which is probably Deary Racing and P7, he can still hang on to at least about a P6. He just needs to try and not make any more mistakes. As I see a lot of yellow flags.
yeah, they're just everywhere. And you know, this is not to anybody watching or anybody who watches this later. Listen, I've never led commentated, so you're gonna have to give me a little bit of slack. This is very last minute, but these yellow flags popping up everywhere on my track map are definitely not helping in the slightest.
No,
because every time one pops up, I'm like, oh, what happened? What happened? And
it's just
now,
nothing.
yeah, now I got to ignore it. And then when it's something, I'm gonna ignore it.
No, I don't think anyone should be angry at you, Michael. Considering this is your first time doing this thing.
Someone's
You're doing
always
a pretty
angry at
solid
me.
job anyway, mate, so you shouldn't be too displeased with yourself. Doing a very good job.
I'm doing my best, and this makes me respect your job a lot more than I already respected you for the job that you do.
Well, that's alright. Just unfortunate I couldn't be there with you, unfortunately. I am kind of here. 5 seconds behind, but that's okay. Full course yellows, my word, game, stop.
Yeah,
Stop
apparently.
This, I hope this isn't affecting the drivers on track. I really do hope that, because I remember doing a race at Montreal where this exact thing happened, but to the drivers on track. We couldn't overtake anybody.
Yeah,
Because if we did, we get an illegal overtaking penalty in 5 seconds on top of it. So.
You can see, here we'll go on board with somebody who's going. Yeah, if you go on. Yeah, you can't overtake because Taylor just tried to overtake and he got a 5-second penalty. So.
Yeah.
These guys are literally not allowed to overtake. And now it goes back green. Oh,
so these guys are copying this as well. So, yeah. Watch, you'll go back to yellow in a moment as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of the sectors are starting to pop yellow again. Thankfully for a lot of these guys, it's the last lap. And Ethan, this time, not as dramatic as last week. Looks like he's kept his wheel calibrated for the whole race and kept himself in the session for the whole race, and he had a little bit of competition in Kyle, but he's managed this pretty beautifully. And yeah, I mean, Ethan's pretty much soaking up all these points he can, while his championship rival Cam cannot race due to still ailing that hand injury. So shout out to Cam if you're watching. We hope to see you back on track soon. But Ethan's gonna round the final few corners, a little lockup for good measure. And Ethan Lossing is gonna win again here in the 9 p.m. Sunday regionals. Kyle's gonna come home P2. Obviously, standings will be adjusted. Salvanic will be coming home P3. Another solid run for Salvanic. And 4 and 5, we're gonna have Alex Garcia in 4th. And then Dunk is gonna round the final corner, come home 5th. Justin Laprade, he's making his way for through the final few corners. No penalties for Justin. Big shout out to him. Field, I think he's the only one with no penalties for the night. So solid run for him. That'll be P3 once we remove the reserves. So another podium for Justin. Now here comes Stu. after a spin early on. Gonna be P7, I believe. Let's look at the penalties. Yeah, he'll hold on to P7. Deary Racing's gonna be P8. Taylor Hodge, the Heretic, will be P9, I think. No, Rob Hadley's gonna nab P9. Taylor will be P10. And then Buck and Willy Wonker will bring it home. And now we're just waiting on Kaz and Marybus. Or have they already finished? I'm not sure. It hasn't said they finished.
Oh, maybe they have. But the game's just sort of saying, no, you haven't finished yet. Because, why not? Like, Kaz is being displayed 7 laps down. Okay. Yeah, just something's wrong with that. Surely he's not 7 laps down. Dear me.
Well, this game has fully broken tonight.
The busted Grand Prix has finally finished.
Yes, I think we should dub it the busted Grand Prix. Joe's gonna have to go in and change the name of this YouTube title because I don't think I did it quite right. But yeah.
After qualifying, everything just sort of stopped working.
Yeah, well, we had, let's see, we had a lobby reset. Yeah. Stu was pretty swift in getting everything back going, so shout out to Stu on that one. And then it just kicked you out of the lobby, said see you later, you're not allowed.
Yeah, I somehow disconnected from pretty much everything except for this party. And then I started it back up again.
Then we tried.
And then it kicked me out again. And then I tried to join back, and it wouldn't let me into the lobby. Okay, I can't stream this now. Then I spent about 20 minutes trying to find a way in. That didn't work. So you had to lead, which you did a great job, by the way, for your first time.
I am going to not agree to that. Also, Brett gave me props. Brett, I don't even want to watch this back and listen to myself. I know the level of cringe is going to be terrible.
I hate listening to myself as well. I can't stand me.
Drink Alchemy says France is always the busted GP. I mean,
the bust.
You're not wrong there. You're really not wrong there. Anyway, I guess we will get our podium finishers in here. That'll be Ethan, Salvanic, and Justin. I'll scroll down here, get the full results.
Yeah.
But yeah, not the best go of things tonight for us. But you know what the good thing is, Lane? We've got 13 more rounds to go to compensate for this absolute nightmare tonight. Yeah, I mean, if we get more like this, it might be a bad thing.
Yeah, just make sure you're not on the blue screen either. Otherwise you won't be able to pick up anyone's audio, except for your own.
Yeah. Alright, so we've got Ethan who's joined. And I don't know if we'll get Salvanic, but if we get Justin, we'll start with him. I guess we'll go into the showroom. That's what all the good commentators do during interviews, right?
Maybe.
Maybe.
It's just a nice place to show off cars and show off who won and who else finished on the podium. It's amazing, I haven't spoken all day and I'm starting to lose my voice. What the hell? Give me a minute.
Right, we'll pop in the showroom here. And how do I do this?
That landed right on my foot.
There we go. All right, so we will start with our P3 finisher, Justin Laprade. So, good run for you tonight. Admittedly, we missed the first couple of laps, so you're actually going to have to literally talk us through your first few laps because we had a few problems tonight. So, yeah, good run for you, another P3. Saw you a couple weeks ago on the podium. Um, Penalty free for you tonight, which is really, really solid. So, yeah, talk us through your French Grand Prix.
The start was definitely a little hairy. I was in the middle of everything, but somehow kept it clean. I made a few overtakes, had a few gimmies with people spinning out, and all around I just kind of kept it clean, made a few overtakes. It was another kind of boring race, nothing too crazy. Just kept it clean, penalty free, and ended up back here somehow.
Yeah, you talk about ending up back here. I mean, you can't really put yourself down like that because you're somebody who's, if you're not on the podium, you seem to be very, very close every race as long as you have no trouble. So, talk us through it's very, very close between probably you, Dion, Matt, could throw Salvonic in there. Obviously, Dion and Matt had issues tonight. So talk us through the battle between those few guys and what it takes for you to take the fight to them every week.
Well, I think those guys definitely had a little bit more pace than me. I only had today to practice this track because I was busy all week. So it was just keeping it consistent and staying close with them as much as I could. That's what kept me alive and in this race.
All right, well, congratulations on your P3. Lane, this is a bit of a weird dynamic, but I don't know if you have anything to add. You're usually better at the questions than me anyway.
It is a bit difficult for me because I didn't see too much. So I'll think of something. Well, I'm looking at the standings, and Justin, you're currently ninth with, let's have a look, see, after round 7 in the championship, ninth on 29 points. So your main rival at the moment is Bill Vosti in PA. Looking forward into the championship, into the following rounds that I believe Austria, if I'm not mistaken, and then Silverstone. I'm going off by memory here. Are you looking forward to the next couple of races coming up in this championship season?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the next few tracks. The first part of the season are more of my more difficult tracks, but the next ones coming up, I'm excited for. Austria, I think everyone has fun there. Silverstone's fun, and there's plenty of others.
Yeah, we got Hungaroring, the Spa, and Zandvoort as well. So we got some interesting tracks coming up. Well, I'm definitely looking. Well, hopefully this doesn't happen again, where we have all these technical problems. But I'm definitely looking forward to the next couple of races. Keen to see your performances as well, Justin. But a very fine podium place indeed for you. Congratulations.
Alrighty, well, I don't think we've got Salvonic, but we can move on to our race winner. So, Ethan, another race win for you. Just piling up those points the last couple of weeks. Seemed a little less stressful and eventful for you tonight, so talk us through your race and how you ended up on the top step.
Pretty happy with qualifying. Got pole. Wasn't my best lap, but it was good enough for pole. I think I kind of messed up the last corner pretty bad. Probably cost me a tenth or two, but it was still a pretty good lap. Didn't get a very good start, but was lucky to hold the lead coming out of the first corner. I think on the back straight, KD passed me on that first lap. I knew at that point that he was going to kind of use a bunch of CRS, so I was just going to kind of manage mine for most of the race and just kind of let him use his. I think I passed him before we made our pit stops, and then he got an undercut on me and came out ahead. And then a few laps into the second stint, I knew he had low ERS, and at that point, I think it was like a 5-7 lap stretch or whatever that I didn't use any overtake and got my battery back up to 90%. And then at the end, I was able to pass him pretty easily. But yeah, it's a pretty good race.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you kind of he was ahead of you for a lot of that race. And yeah, as you said, you kind of just let him burn up his ERS. You also let him burn up his warnings, I guess you could say. He stacked up a lot of penalties, so really never pressure on you. But I know you wanted to get that win on track, so definitely big congrats to you. I'll throw it over to Lane, see if he's got anything to add.
I'm gonna have to think. Let me see. Well, your main championship rival Cameron unfortunately couldn't participate tonight, so your championship lead is going to be somewhat massive coming into the next following rounds at Austria and at Silverstone. So first of all, are you looking forward to those races? But also, in regards to this race, did you have any of the technical issues that you had from last week at Montreal?
No, I didn't have any of the issues, luckily. That's the first and only time that's ever happened. Hopefully that'll never happen again. Yeah, Austria's not one of my favorite tracks usually, but should be fine. And then Silverstone's always a fun track to drive. But yeah, it's a long season. I think I have a pretty decent lead now, but long season, anything could happen. So just gotta take it race by race.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on another fine victory here at France.
All right. Well, yeah, like I said, I don't think we're going to get Salvanik, but congratulations to him on another P2. He's been really solid this season as well. Lane, I don't know if you have anything to add, but other than the fact that tonight is definitely one to forget, but we made the most of it.
Yeah. Technical issues aside, on the commentary point of view, at least the race seemed to have gone okay, except for the constant yellow flags.
Yeah, the yellow flags everywhere was not ideal.
No. And we could tell because Taylor got a penalty for overtaking under yellow flags that we didn't just see it, everyone saw it. So, yeah, wasn't a great race, unfortunately, in that regard, but we got through it, we soldiered through it, and we can look forward to next week at Austria, which is always fun at the Red Bull Ring. The racing is always pretty good there, so I'm looking forward to that, at the very least.
Yep, yeah, as you said, onwards and upwards to Austria. Always a good track for action and overtaking. And yeah, hopefully we don't have an absolute dumpster fire of a stream and lobby that we did tonight. So until then, this is going to be really weird. Until then, I'm Michael Groen Jr., or Top Gun 88, along with my co-commentator, Lane Everingham, or the Smeg. Goodbye.